All right, today we're talking about something pretty amazing. How your workout is so much more than just building muscle. It's actually your body's secret weapon against a hidden enemy. Look, we all know exercise is good for us, right? But what if I told you it's doing something way cooler than just making your heart stronger? It's literally fighting a silent battle inside you, every single day. The enemy? It's chronic inflammation. And your workout, it turns out, is the best weapon you've got. So what exactly is this enemy? Well, let's be clear. We're not talking about the kind of inflammation you get when you sprain your ankle. That's actually a good thing. That's your body healing. No, we're talking about something much sneakier, chronic low-grade inflammation. The best way to think about it, it's like a fire that's always simmering just under the surface, all throughout your body, a constant low-level state of emergency. And yeah, that simmering fire, it's definitely not harmless. Over time, having your body in this constant state of alert, well, it's been linked to some of the biggest, most serious diseases out there. We're talking about things like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even osteoporosis and Alzheimer's. So you can see why getting a handle on this is, well, it's a pretty big deal. Okay, so how do we know for sure that exercise is the answer? Well, scientists found a huge clue from this one brilliantly simple experiment. Let's dive in and see what they did. So researchers got a group of 47 healthy people together, and the plan was super straightforward. First, they took a blood sample. Then, they had everyone walk on a treadmill for just 20 minutes. We're not talking a full-on sprint here, just a moderate pace, feeling somewhat hard. And right after they finished, boom, another blood sample. So what were they looking for? They wanted to see what happened to these specific immune cells called monocytes. Now, the easiest way to think of monocytes is like they're the alarm system for your body, the first responders. When they get triggered, they start pumping out this molecule called TNF, which is basically them screaming, emergency, emergency, and that's what kicks off inflammation. And what they found was really cool. Get this, before the workout, about 47% of those little alarm cells were primed and ready to sound the alarm. But after just 20 minutes of walking, that number dropped down to 42%. Now, that might not sound like a huge jump, but think about it. That's a real, measurable, calm-down signal sent to the body's entire alarm system from one short walk. Okay, that's an amazing result, but you know what the next question is, right? How? How did that happen? What was the actual mechanism that quieted everything down? Right, so what was it about that simple walk that told the immune system's alarm to chill out a bit? Turns out, the answer is all about the hormones your body releases when you get moving. The main players here are a group of hormones called catecholamines, and you've definitely heard of these, even if you don't know the scientific name. We're talking about epinephrine, that's adrenaline, and norepinephrine. When you exercise, your body pumps these out to deal with the physical stress. Now, your body releases both of these, but the study found there was one clear hero in this story: epinephrine, adrenaline. It is the absolute powerhouse here. In fact, it's something like 100 times more powerful than norepinephrine when it comes to shutting down that inflammatory signal. 100 times. That's huge. So let's picture this. When you exercise, you get this flood of adrenaline. That adrenaline acts like a messenger, zipping through your bloodstream on a mission to deliver one very specific message to those alarm cells. Hey, calm down. And how does the cell get the message? Well, it has these special docking stations on its surface. The sciencey name is beta-2 adrenergic receptors. When that epinephrine docks onto one of these, it's like flicking a switch. It sets off a chain reaction inside the cell that basically just turns the volume down on the whole inflammatory alarm system. And you don't have to just take my word for it. The researchers who did the studies said it best themselves. They found that, the whole reason that inflammatory signal goes down during exercise is because of that spike in epinephrine, which talks to the cells through those specific receptors. It's just a really elegant, precise system. Okay, so we've seen what happens in just one workout. That's the immediate effect. Now let's pull back and look at the big picture. How does this one little effect add up to something huge for your long-term health? That 20-minute effect is powerful, for sure. But here's where the real magic happens, when you stack it. Imagine getting that little anti-inflammatory boost, but you do it today and tomorrow and the day after that. You're just stacking that benefit over and over. So, there's a huge difference between a one-off workout and making it a regular thing. One workout gives you that immediate temporary fix, right? Adrenaline goes up, inflammation signal goes down. But when you train regularly, you get these lasting changes. Your entire baseline level of inflammation starts to drop. We can actually measure this with something called C-reactive protein, or CRP, and we see it go down over time. And it's not just about the adrenaline either. Regular exercise is like a multi-pronged attack on inflammation. For one, it helps get rid of visceral fat. That's the really nasty stuff around your organs that's basically a factory for inflammatory signals. It can also reduce the number of those docking stations we talked about, and even change your immune cells to be just less angry and inflammatory in general. So what's the takeaway from all this? It's simple, really. We need to stop thinking about exercise as just a chore and start thinking about it for what it is: medicine. Look, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this number: 20. 20 minutes. That's all it takes. Just 20 minutes of moderate activity to kickstart this powerful body-wide anti-inflammatory response. That's not a crazy goal, right? It's totally achievable, and we know it works. So here's the bottom line. Every single time you go for a brisk walk or hop on a bike or whatever it is you do, you're not just exercising. You are actively giving yourself a dose of some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory medicine on the planet. And the best part? You're in charge. It's a prescription you write for yourself. Which really just leaves one final question for you to think about. If exercise really is medicine, what's your daily dose going to be?